Good morning, students. Now, today we are going to move forward in our chapter third of business study with the difference private sector and public sector. Before that, we have completed our government corporations. So, what are government corporation? We have seen it that the 51% of the stakeholding means the shareholding pattern will be of the government, so that in that case we are going to call such a kind of company as a government company. The shareholding can be either of the state government or central government. Okay, so that was the concept. Now today we are going to learn about the next part, that is the difference between private sector and public sector. So let us go through it. Now the formation, how it is formed. See, the formation of private sector. See, if you want to make a private sector enterprises, then you will have to fulfill a lot of formality, as we have learned and seen in the case of joint stock company, that so many formalities with the registrars there, memorandum articles and everything, so many things were there, and it was a long process. And here in public sector, this can simply be made by just government decisions. Okay, so that is not going to big issue in creating this public sector units, because government will be making such a kind of entity. Now objective, as we know, this private sector, definitely their main motive is earning profit. On the other side, if we talk about the public sector enterprises, the main objective is the service. They are just doing the welfare, or they are simply entering for the service motive. Okay, now this management. So private sector enterprise are managed and controlled by board of director who are professional and experts. So these type of enterprises are being managed and controlled by some good professional experts. And now here in the case of public sector enterprise, these are managed and controlled by the board of director, but these are appointed or represented by the government. So board of director in this case are generally appointed by the government, or generally they are the representative of the government. Now this capital. So capital means the money which you invest in the business. So here in the private sector enterprise, maximum capital is contributed by investors. So if you are making such a kind of private company, then who is going to invest? Investors are going to purchase the share, and from them the money is going to come to the company. In case of public sector, basically the capital is contributed by the government. So actually this investment will be done by the government. Now the fifth point is freedom of operation. So there is more freedom in case of private, and there is less freedom in case of public sector due to political interference. In case of private, there is no political interference and they can freely operate. Now accountable means answerability. Accountable means you are answerable to whom? So here the private sector are not directly accountable to the general public. Now here they are not directly accountable to the general public, because whoever is the owner, so most of the board of director and all these people generally accountable to the owner, because he is the one who has created such a kind of company. He is the entrepreneur. But in the case of this public sector enterprises, these are accountable to the general public, as their performance is discussed in the parliament. So any kind of entity, if it is not performing well, then it will be discussed in the parliaments. As for, such an example can be say like Bharat Hindustan Electrical Limited or Oil India Limited company, Air India can be there. So this type of entities, they can be discussed, like railway is not performing well, so it can be discussed in the parliament about its performance. But here it will be basically done in the meetings of this private company. Now the employees. So the private sector recruit and select their own employees. Okay, and they have their own rules regarding the remuneration. So suppose if you are working for a private company, then you will be working according to their set of rules, and whatever the slabs they have decided for appointing or recruiting the peoples. Okay, so the salary will be paid according to their rules and regulation. But in case of public sector, they are the civil servant. Okay, the public sector allows government rules regarding the remuneration. So here the government will decide the rules, like what kind of facility or perquisites will be given to such kind of employee who will be working for the government, because most of these people are called as civil servants. Okay, now performance or evaluation. Now, the performance of public private sector enterprise is judged on the basis of economic gains. So, means mainly these private sector are just evaluated on the basis of earning profit. But the performance of public sector enterprise is not based on this profit earning and all. They are simply done for this non economic issue, means they are doing some kind of welfare or not. It is up to that whether really the purpose for which they are created, they are really turning out fruitful and such a kind of area or not. Like railways turning out to be fruitful or not, it will be the question. Doesn't matter if it goes in losses or something like that. So even this will be discussed, means it will be a kind of thing which is done simply for welfare of the people. Okay, now let's move forward. Now, the multinational corporations or multinational companies or global enterprise, it is also called somehow because these such kind of companies are operating in more than one countries. You can see its presence in many places. Like if you talk about Coca-Cola and Pepsi, so you will see that these entities, means these companies are everywhere, almost or not everywhere, means in most of the countries you will find Coca-Cola and Pepsi. So you can say that Coke is nothing but a multinational company's example. Okay, now multinational consists of two different words, multi and national. Multi means means in many countries or the nation. So it simply indicates that if a company is there and it is operating in more than one country, then you can call it a multinational company. So multinational means a company which operates in many countries, such as company has branches, factories, workshop in different countries. A multinational company is also known as transnational corporation, global enterprises, international enterprises. Most of the time we call it global or MNC. The headquarter of this MNC are located in one country. Home country in case is business in the other countries, host countries. So the multinational company get incorporated in the home country. Let's say take an example of an insurance company. Like in India, there is a company of insurance called as Bharti AXA Life Insurance. So Bharti Group is of India, but on the other side, AXA, this group is belonging of a France. So the head office of AXA is in France. So where is the head office of such a kind of company like AXA? So it is there in Paris. Okay, so the headquarter is in Paris, but its branches it is having at many different countries. So branches can be anywhere, but it will all the branches will be handled from a central place, and that central office or the main office will be located in the country of its origin. Like in case of AXA, it is France, so it will be in Paris. Now, example here given: Coca-Cola, Hyundai, Nike, Puma, Reebok, and so many companies are there. Sony, LG, and Samsung. L'Oreal is also there, which is well-known brand. So all these are multinational companies. So what are these features? The first feature is giant size and use capital resources. So such type of company are giant in size, means these are company which operate on a very large scale production. Okay, so if you talk about such a kind of company like Nike, so it is doing production in India also, and any other Vietnam and many other places. So Nike is having its production units almost in most of the countries. So this is the first feature of such a kind of multinational company, that they are in giant in size. So the assets, the sales of MNC are large. This company operate on a large scale. The operations are so huge that sometimes the sale turnover exceeds the GNP of a developing country. So what happens? See, in case of these companies, what happens? Sometimes the profit is so large that it exceeds the GDP of a small country. So you can see that at a very high rate of production these companies operate, and they are everywhere. Means profit will also be come to it from every country. Now, centralized control. Now, the branches of MNC spread in different countries and control managed through the headquarter located in the home country. All the branches operate within the policy or framework of the headquarter. So, as I told you about EXA, that it operates from France. From France, where in Paris. From Paris, it is going to operate. So, all over. So, centralized control can be seen that all the branches will be managed from where? From a central office, or which is located in their home country. It is also called as headquarter. Now the third point, advanced technology. Now as we know that these companies are very huge in size, so they use advanced technology. Like if you talk about Hyundai car, so it is having a very advanced kind of technology. So that's the reason even the second hand cars which are being sold of Hyundai company in the market, the people get a very good prices for even second hand cars. So this is the use of excellent technology, and which they use, because engine is such good in Hyundai that people prefer even second hand cars also. So they are using advanced technology here. So multinational company make use of latest technology to supply world class product. They employ capital intensive technology and innovative technique of production. So what they use here, the capital intensive means they will be using machinery instead of these labors and all. Okay, and the latest technology they are going to prefer. Now, expansion of market territory. Territory means area. Market is a place where they are going to sell their product. So due to its vast resources, excellent market skill, a multinational corporation has access to international markets. It is able to sell its product service in the different countries. Now, a multinational corporation operates in more than one country. It has branches, factories, office in several countries. It operates through a network of branches and subsidiaries in the host country. Now, see, this type of company is having market all around the places. So, in the international market, all these MNCs either they are having their just a kind of unit from they are going to sell. Like many times you will find this outlet of Nike shoes. So what are they going to do? Most of the time in India also you will see this kind of outlet in almost lot of places. So from there even they are going to do this sales. So they are having a good hold over the market. Okay, it is also called as factory outlet sometimes. Now, oligopolistic power are there. So, oligopoly means power in the hand of few companies only. Due to this giant size, the multinational company occupy a dominating position in the market. So, if you talk about this Hindustan Unilever company, or Tata Oil Mills, Ponds, even all these companies, like if you talk even about Coca-Cola and Pepsi. So these companies are having oligopoly power. If you see about these companies, there are only two companies which are in the sector of this cold drink business, that is Coke and Pepsi. The third cannot be seen, because whichever company comes they will have to either join under the Coca-Cola, or they will have to join under the Pepsi if they want to survive their business. Now these are two great entities. So you can see that oligopolistic power means when the control comes in the hand of few companies, we call it oligopoly power. Okay, now product innovation. Now these enterprises have highly sophisticated research and development, and department engage in task of developing new product and superior designs. Means every company somehow, this all this MNC they got research and development team in their premises. So what they used to do, they are going to discover new technology, some new kind of technology or engine which they can launch. Okay, so what happened, because of that the people will be having some kind of interest, because every time the new product will be launched. So these companies invest a huge amount of money in their R&D program or research and development program. And innovation means coming out with something new product. Okay, whenever something new product comes in the market, so this is called innovation. Like in case of Nike, nowadays we are finding shoes like they are called as reflector shoes. So it is radium based, which is going to shine in a night also. This is kind of innovation. Even the lights are used, LED lights are used in this shoes. So every time they are doing something new with the innovation. Even like in the other kind of company, like if you talk about ASICs and all, so all these companies are doing on a large scale business, and they are using gel technology, or some air fusion is there. So all these things are nothing but innovation. Now marketing strategy. Now they spend a huge amount on the marketing. They use aggressive marketing strategy in order to increase their sales in a short period. So marketing strategy will be huge. They will be putting their ads or showing in every country, so that their sales are going to increase in a very short period of time. Whenever a new product is launched, they will be coming out with their ads and all, and because of those heavy expenditure on advertisement, they are going to sell their products in the market, because they don't feel reluctant in saving the money. They are going to just put a huge amount of money to put the advertisement on the TVs, on websites and all. So this is, all these things are marketing strategy, and they are simply doing it on a very frequent basis. Now foreign collaboration means, if suppose if you just now I talked about EXA. So So EXA is in India in the insurance business with Bharti Group. So Bharti EXA Life Insurance is the name of the company. Okay, so this is a foreign collaboration. So EXA Group belongs to the France, but they are doing business in India. Means with Bharti Group and EXA Group, they are joining hands together to enter into a business which is called as insurance in India. So this is a foreign collaboration. Okay, for EXA. Now, global enterprise usually enter into agreements with Indian companies pertaining to the sale of technology, production of goods, use of brand names for their final products. So, in many cases, like whenever the sales of technology will be there or production of goods they have to do. So, in this case, they will be collaborating. Like with IPCA, AstraZeneca is having collaboration for making this production of goods like medicines. Okay, so like this, the foreign collaboration goes on for making the final product. And in many cases you will find such kind of thing, like you will find Honda doing collaboration with Hero MotoCorp and like that. Okay, so the first point here is MNC should be allowed to enter in high tech industries only, for example telecommunication, petrochemical India. So here they are giving safeguard must be taken to ensure the role of MNC in host country like India. So this is like a separate part here. Suppose if a company is coming to India, it want to enter into a collaboration with an Indian company, then what precaution we need to take? Okay, so MNC should be allowed with entering only with high tech industry only. Means it is not, it should not be allowed with the small company or a very medium type of enterprises, because such kind of entry can be done with telecommunication sector or petrochemical industry where the development needs to be done. Now, second point, MNC must bring direct foreign investment so that there is an improvement in the balance of payment. So what is this type of thing you can leave out right now, because see, foreign investment means FDI. Whenever these companies they invest in India, they invest with this controlling power. So FDI is good. Actually, the flow of dollar will be there in India, so it is going to improve the condition of balance of payment, because this we are going to study in the macroeconomics of your 12th class. Okay, balance of payment. So it is regarding the flow of dollars because they are going to invest in India. Okay, so FDI will be there. So the third point is the MNC should not be allowed to kill small domestic enterprises. So see, if some big entity is entering into India, so it must be ensured that the small companies the business may not wind up. It should not be closed. This must be taken care of. Okay, so these were the features of this MNC. So all these things were included in your third chapter. After this, the joint venture and public partnership PPP, which I already told you in the beginning of this chapter, that these are removed for this particular year due to COVID-19 situation. So till this multinational companies you will be having in from this book. Okay, so that's all for today, and this is the last video of this chapter, third chapter, and we are going to move forward with our fourth chapter. So thank you.